Hi, welcome back to Toy Room Treasures, and this is our review of the show Community.
So, we recently started watching Community again. I think it was you who started watching it first.
Yeah.
And then you asked me to, well, told me pretty much that I was going to keep watching it.
It's great.
Yeah, most certainly. Definitely one of my favourite shows like that.
Yeah.
I also, recently after finishing it, I also started watching The Office. The Office is still good, don't get me wrong. Community's just that bit better though, I think.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about it. It's something special. It's just the dynamics in the show. It's good. Probably seasons 1 through 5 are good.
Mm-hmm.
Last season is serviceable.
Yeah.
It's not bad, but it doesn't hold up.
No, so yeah, the big thing about Community was that they had a great team with everyone that was in there, all the actors.
Yeah.
Like especially the guy who played Abed, do you know his name off the top of your head? No. And the guy, Donald Glover, who played Troy. They were the life of the show.
Yeah, it's like the show was built around Jeff, really.
Yeah.
But they were the fun aspect of the show. They were everyone in the show had their role. Everyone in the show, it was good. Troy is always my favourite. And teamed with Ahmed, he's that much better. But everyone had a role. They had had their own different roles, and they fit together differently. And there's different stories with each character, as there is in every show, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But they're so different, the people, but so similar at the same time.
Yeah.
And they clicked. The cast clicked on screen at least.
Yeah.
Chevy Chase did apparently not click off screen, as he often doesn't.
Yeah.
That's not a surprise. But there's a few flaws in the show. Every show there is.
Mm.
But overall, it's really great. I think they tried to push the Dean into a main character a bit too much.
Especially as the last season, he literally becomes a part of the group.
Yeah.
Which he was beforehand, kind of.
I thought it was always meant to be like the Gunther in Friends. Like he's the seventh friend.
Yeah.
Or, people say that. He's there, but he's not in the group. He's never in the group.
Well, originally he was just sort of in the background, like he was just the dean of the school.
Yeah.
But towards the more it went on, he sort of became telling the audience what's happening in this episode. He tells them what's going on in the school, whether there's what's the other one? Not Greendale, the
City College.
City College, yeah, is doing something to try and screw them, like the astronaut episode.
Yeah. And in season 6, when he became a bigger part of the group, he's more main character. He's in the group. They mention it. He doesn't dress up the whole year.
Mm.
That's his gimmick. That's the main part of his gimmick. He dresses up and has these funny puns about what news he has for them and stuff. And I feel like because of the loss of characters, they pushed him into that role because he was a known character.
Yeah.
And I think he was at his best on the outer of the group.
Mm.
But
yeah, well, he's a solid character still, but yeah, I don't think they should have left it where it was with Dean, especially towards season 6. He's the dean of the school, leave it at that.
yeah, well, it made sense in a way, in it's the safe Greendale committee.
Yeah.
He's the dean, he should be involved to an extent, but. And also, Frankie at the end wasn't. There wasn't enough time to develop her character.
Yeah.
She's I don't know. It's coming straight shooter. She's the way she is. She's not the most fun person in the beginning.
Mm.
And it's too short. I reckon the end season 13 episodes.
I'm pretty sure, yeah, off the top of my head.
Too soon to develop a character like that. I don't even know if she was in all of them. I can't remember.
I think she
was.
is. Yeah.
I think she's in
for
all
season
of them.
6. Yeah.
Season 6.
But also towards the end, they have a problem with characters just disappearing.
Yeah.
I think they had Brie Larson. She broke up with Arvid and then didn't.
Well,
And then she's just gone after that. They never even mentioned, they broke up. And then again, they've got that the old guy who essentially replaces Pierce. who's the guy who draws the ducks.
Yeah, well, he was there all along in the school, so he come to the forefront of the show, and then he went to the background. But something must have happened because in the grifting episode, the grifting professor shares the office with Jeff.
Yeah.
Who was previously, I can't remember his name.
Yeah, we'll chuck it on the screen.
Or something.
Yeah.
But, it's to say that he's gone, but it doesn't say where. And Duncan,
he
was always disappearing. And
they did mention it though in one of the episodes.
One time, and then he didn't come back at the end, and they didn't mention that. So
yeah,
they the whole about the joke the whole way through 6 seasons of the movie. It seems odd that they didn't keep everyone for 6 seasons. That was the plan.
I mean, they did it pretty solidly though. They got, what was it, 4 or 5 seasons with pretty much everyone. Four when Pierce leaves.
4 with everyone. I think Shirley stayed till the end of 5.
Yeah.
Pierce was the hologram in season 5, just for one scene.
Which I don't think counts, but
no, but the point is
he's in it. Yeah.
And then Troy was in the first few episodes. There's 3 or 4, and he leaves, I think. So really, season 5 was a big shift.
Yeah.
They didn't bring anyone new to the group, did they?
Not immediately, no. It wasn't until Jeff became a teacher.
Yeah.
They had Chang in the group, but they always sort of had Chang in the group.
He was never in the group until season 6, I don't think.
He was never officially
He was always around.
Yeah.
And that's yeah. But Chang had more potential than, say, the Dean to go in the group.
Oh, yeah, myself.
He's got a bigger range in his character. He's really good. Really good actor, and the character was good in a way. He was written in a way that he could do anything.
Yeah.
And good, evil, he could do anything. So that's good. But yeah, overall, really good show.
Yeah. Well, like we've been saying, the end season's not that great, just compared to the rest, or really in general, it's not that great, to be honest. And the thing that lets it down, I'd say, would be when they lose characters.
Yeah.
Besides that, it's a solid show about friends just at school who have very TV drama stuff happen to them.
Yeah.
Stuff that just wouldn't happen.
Yeah, well, I think they didn't replace the characters the best. That was a big letdown. It's a bit hard to replace such a good lineup.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know. And then they kind of repeated some stuff, and it was never as good. They're never as good the first 2 paintball episodes. The third one was, in Jeff's head when he graduated.
Yeah, that one wasn't great. Yeah.
And then, after Jeff left, he comes back and he's teams with his old lawyer friend. But it's why didn't he go team with the dude? It doesn't make sense. Why didn't he team with the dude? He plays Boyle in Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yep.
I can't. He's offered him 6 his salary, corner office, blah, blah, double it. And then he's just alright, but I want to go, help the little guy. That is what it is, because it's meant to have changed him.
Yeah.
But when he's got no money and he decides to go into that role again, why does he not go for that rather than trying to sue his school?
He has other alternatives, yeah.
And then he's stuck teaching, but he could just go to him.
Yeah, he could go do something else. He's still technically a lawyer.
Yeah, it's just strange things. But yeah, they had to get him back to school somehow, I guess. Because the show
continued.
Yeah, because regardless of who the best character is, which I think is Troy with Arbet is better.
Yeah.
But the show probably wouldn't survive without Jeff.
No, not at all. Season 1 is, this is Jeff, and he's in this situation. These are the side characters.
Yeah.
And then season 1's developing those characters and who they are. Whereas season 2 and onwards, I would say, is where they start to develop as a group.
Yeah, they come into their own separate roles.
Yeah.
And Troy stops being high school jock to nerd with Arbet.
Yep.
Yeah, so character development's good. But yeah.
Who would you say, in your opinion, is the worst character of the show? maybe not the worst, but like your least favorite. And let's say out of the
We're
group.
talking about this.
The group,
Okay.
yeah.
It's a tricky thing because you look at it, Pierce is like a racist, but his role is he's outdated, he's this, and he's not meant to be, we're not meant to be taking him seriously in what he says, so I don't know, I dislike Britta more towards the end of the show.
Yeah.
I think her character goes like a bit downhill the last few seasons. Troy and Arbet is obviously solid.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff is good too. Annie, good. So I think they didn't do enough with Shirley. So maybe Shirley, just because they didn't do quite enough with her for her to be top character.
Yeah.
I don't know. What about you?
Well, like we talked about this beforehand, and I said Pierce at that time. But thinking more on it, I'm gonna say Britta. Like she's a good character, but it's like her role changes every now and then.
Yeah.
And I get that's her character, that she doesn't stick to her motive of being an activist and going for like animal rights, and there's abuse in the Middle East and all that sort of stuff, and then she just doesn't do it the next time. But I found it just a bit boring and repetitive towards the end.
Yeah, the thing to me that gives her the edge over Shirley is they did much more with Britta. And
yes, I will
the whole
admit that.
thing, she dropped off at the end in terms of her character, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, Shirley wasn't there at the end. So it comes down to
who was there the longest.
It wasn't a poor character. It was not a well utilized character. So, because really the characters are all good.
Yeah.
The replacement characters.
I do like one of the replacement characters, but I am just a big fan of the actor.
Yeah, I know. He wasn't that good in the show though.
No, I will admit that.
I can't remember his name.
Neither can I. Again, all the names we
the
don't
new
remember.
IT lady.
All the names we don't remember, I'll chuck in when I'm editing this.
So like, the replacements are never good. Like, really, towards the end of the show, there's Jeff, Arbed, and Annie. And Britta's there too. I think Britta's character drops off.
Yeah, I don't like the whole family thing. Like, they bring in her parents, and actually has hated her parents, but her parents are super rich, and they've been secretly funding her. Yeah. I reckon that, like, the first time they did that, that's fine.
It's fine as a story, but
they went back to it too many times.
Yeah, it's like made all the other characters seem really nasty. Like, just ramping on about her, and it's like, give her a bit of a break. But shows like this, and it always bothers me. It's like, how do they always get their money? Like
the characters?
Yeah, we're showing Shirley working, we're showing Britta working. We're not seeing anybody else work.
Pierce we understand, because Pierce he's head of the Hawthorne Lives, was just like $1 million company apparently.
But Shirley until she opens Shirley Sandwiches,
she's just a mum.
She's a single mum.
Yeah.
How is she making money?
Yeah.
We've got Britta, who is paying for Arbed's classes, who she's shown at the end she's a bartender, but in the beginning of the show,
she originally worked at a restaurant, because they do the Die Hard thing.
Yeah, and she got fired pretty quickly, because we know from before she started, she didn't have a job.
Yeah. And
it's the Die Hard episode she did, but because before, do you remember when the episode where they all find out how they all got to Grando?
Yeah. The superhero origin story.
Yeah, she's asking for a job application. So we know as the show's about to start, she doesn't have a job. And she's out paying for Arbed's classes as well.
Yeah.
And Arbed's expenses and all that.
Arbed definitely doesn't have a job, and neither does Troy.
No.
Jeff is literally got fired and is coming here to try and get a job.
Yeah. And then it's strange, because we're seeing, like, he owns his condo. Yeah, they're selling it off. He's got no money. He's living in his car. And we forget about it? Like,
yeah. And then he goes and buys another condo.
It's just minor inconsistencies. But that happens every TV show.
Yeah.
You can't order too much against it.
But, like, also, it'd be super boring to watch a show where these guys are working to get money to be able to live. And fair enough. Like, I think so.
I don't want it to be the focal point. I want it to be mentioned in the background. Like, have it mentioned it's just a pet hate with me in TV shows because they never show up what they do.
Yeah. I mean, I get what you're saying. Like, if they did something like with what they did with Britta, how they just mentioned that she was a waitress and then eventually showed it one episode.
Yeah, like they just
That's
show
fair
it
enough.
here and there. Like, I don't know, what's wrong with just mentioning Abed gets a job in like a movies theatre or something like that in the background?
They do kind of try and explain it for, can't remember her name, the one that is not Britta and is the other young chick.
Annie.
I kept thinking of Abby. Yeah, she says that she saved since high school to get her apartment, but she's not making any more money since high school.
Yeah, she's living in her apartment, and her apartment's like in a bad area, really run down. And then she moves in with
Troy and
Troy and Abed, and they're all paying their rent somehow. So I don't know, but that's just a little thing that I hate in TV shows. But it's just minor annoyance overall. That's not a big deal.
Yeah. Well, we have ranted and raved a bit for what we nitpick for the show and what we don't like. So, what's favorite episode?
Ah,
I know there's a lot, but if I hold a gun to your head, you got to choose one episode.
paintball gun. The paintball episode's really good. The first two specifically. The Dungeons and Dragons ones.
Yep.
Are good. They're all good.
Mm.
The Christmas episode where Jeff fights the dude, that's a good one.
Jeff Fox. Oh, yep.
Yeah. It's just too many, I think. What do you reckon?
Well, it's also kind of a bit of a jab towards Netflix. So I watched this on Netflix.
He hasn't seen the full season.
No, yeah. Season 2, episode 14. I found this episode to search it up. Netflix removed that episode, which is the Dungeons and Dragons episode, which I love.
Yeah.
I reckon that's a really cool, creative episode. But they removed it because Chang does a scene where he covers himself in black because he's a dark elf. And because it's blackface, they got rid of it. And to their credit, fair enough.
Yeah, it's understandable.
But a couple seasons later, there's an episode where Pierce draws on one hand blackface and the other hand yellowface.
Yeah. Pierce is like actively racist and homophobic throughout the show. And he did blackface, and it kind of like Chang's a bit not all there.
No, yeah, he's insane. He's supposed to be.
I know it was blackface.
Yeah.
He didn't like it felt like he didn't know he was doing it. Like that was the joke. But like again, you can't be racist, and that's fair enough.
Yeah.
It's just unfortunate. Especially with what happens in the show. Especially with Pierce is racist the whole time, but like
it is what it is, really. Like it worked for the show and for the time.
Yeah. I can't remember there being a big problem with it at the time.
The only big problem I ever heard of was the guy who played Pierce and when he ended up having to leave. But that's the only problem I ever heard with the show.
He's just a problem. He's been a problem with something Chevy Chase.
Yeah, I reckon with all that said, what would you rate it out of 10?
As a whole?
Yes, so not season by season. As community as a whole, out of 10.
The first 4 are strong, like really, really strong.
Mm-hmm.
If it continued, like it's already like highly rated, it's very popular. If it continued at season 1 to 4, if that's 5 and 6, I like that.
Yeah.
I think it's really up there. But including that brings it down a bit, maybe somewhere between the realms of 8 or 9. I really, really like the first 4. I think 5 is really good too. It's not as good because I love Troy. But 6 is a letdown, and that brings it down a bit. But it's just, I like the show.
Yeah,
it's one of my favourite shows. So.
Fair enough. And I wanted to mention this before, but just sort of slipped my mind. With all the ratings we do, whether it's a top 10 list or it's a review of any sort, the number 1 spot or the number 10 spot isn't a perfect movie. There's no such thing as a perfect anything.
Yeah.
It's just so for example, for this show, what other shows similar to it should strive to do. You should look at it and go, they did this right, how can we improve it?
Yeah, so like, if I turn around and rate this show a 10, I'm not saying it's the perfect show. I know season 6 isn't that great. I know it in my heart, but still. But it's just, it's enjoyment level, and that's all it is. Like, I really enjoy the show.
Yep.
Nothing's perfect. You need to try and put that on the back burner. Nothing's going to be perfect, so you've got to enjoy it for what it is.
I reckon if I was to rate it, I know that you're a big fan, so you're definitely rating it a bit higher than me. As a whole, including the last 2 seasons, I'm going to have to give it a 7, maybe bump it up to a 7.5.
Well, let's see what IMDb rated, and we'll see who's right.
Yeah,
Let's see.
I just feel that it could have been better towards the end. I feel like with like Jeff coming back to be a teacher, they completed everyone's arc, and they just sort of did it for the sake of needing to have more season. And I mean, fair enough, I enjoyed it, but
yeah, Jeff's arc coming back was a bit strange.
yeah, he's finished.
Yeah, so Community 8.5.
All right. Yeah. Well, I'll be I'll be out of the group with that one.
Yeah, so Jeff's arc was completed. I don't really understand why he wasn't successful.
Yeah.
He was meant to be the best ever. But it is what it is.
Yeah. Sweet. Well, thanks guys for watching. That was our review of Community. Hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, and comment. And we'll see you in the next video.